This is my hot take on it, and I'm sure some people in the comment section would care to disagree. This is from an anime view, by the way. To start with, Reiner was a kid when he first broke through the wall, something Eren even acknowledges. Prior to this moment, Reiner had not interacted with the people of the walls in any way and believed them to be thoroughly evil. Thus, the reason Eren's mom was beaten was ultimately because of the misguided beliefs that had been drilled into Reiner since he was born. Now, many would point out that after this event, Reiner continued on disguise, getting to know the people on the walls and finding out the truth about them. The reveal and the betrayal 5 years later is then seen as a parallel to Eren's attack now after hiding out in Marley. However, I would argue that these situations are still different. For one, Reiner develops something akin to a split personality. It is clear that Reiner bears a crushing guilt for his action, and his betrayal in Season 2 is simply a result of his warrior personality that had been drilled into him, which he alludes to shortly before his transformation. As he says, he has no choice but to finish his work as a warrior. It's the only path available to him, but still his guilty conscience weighs on him to the point that he contemplates his suicide long after the campaign is over. On the other hand, Eren does have a choice. Following the capture of Annie, the acquisition of the Colossal Titan and the journals, and the departure of Marley from the island, the people in the walls hold a lot of cause, even with the scouts mostly wiped out. Eren coming to Marley is his chance to figure out the next course of action, taking into consideration that he learns, unlike Reiner, he has not been raised since birth to hate Marleyan people, only the Titans. He presumably understands that people of the Marley are not the same as Titans who took so much from him. Now, here's the big difference between Eren and Reiner. Eren, despite what I just outlined, decides to kill innocent people anyway, without a hint of remorse, just resignation. He tells Reiner, "You were just kids. What could you even do?" But what is Eren's excuse exactly? He's not a kid. He knows firsthand the pain caused by the slaughter of innocents. However, instead of finding an alternative path, he moves forward with just such a slaughter. And not even were they innocent. The people in the housing complex were aliens just like him. If we assume that Reiner and Eren are the same, I find it incomprehensible that he does this despite the hindsight he has from seeing how Reiner acted. He knows the guilt Reiner suffered, but despite taking many of the same actions Reiner did, he only shows resignation at the fact that he is about to murder people. This is a fundamental difference. If they were the same, one would think that knowing the toll such actions would take on himself and others, even Eren would do everything in his power to avoid conflict. To assume otherwise would assume that Reiner learned nothing at all. This is clearly demonstrated to be false by Reiner's conversation with his family at dinner. As for Eren's motive of destroying his enemies to protect his home, war in general ends up hurting everybody involved. So this will negatively impact people of the island as well, not just Marleyans. With the powerful leverage he holds and the threat of the Titans in the walls, from the rest of the world's perspective, at least starting a negotiation seems like it would have been possible, especially if he first went to the Tibers before now. I say this because only people of Paradise and the Tibers presumably knew the truth about King Fritz. Why not get Willie Tiber on the side of the advocate for the island? Just tell Marley and the world that the people of Paradise will agree to live in peace as long as they are left alone, just like Fritz did 100 years ago. Heck, you could even send the current Titans over to the island and get Marley to agree by making a treaty sharing to use the Titan shifters. Anyways, I'm sort of getting into theories crafting at this point. My final conclusion, Eren and Reiner was very similar but fundamentally different people. I don't see how experiences combined with his time in Marley leads to his current actions. I believe that him telling Reiner that they were the same simply excuse Eren is using to justify his actions. But anyways, what are your thoughts on it? Comment down below. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. This has been your girl Kachi. I will see you later.